What is up, everybody? This is going to be the first video of the weekly matchup recaps. Somebody requested potentially that I do them, so I'm going to do this one for week one that just passed. And if you guys like it, I'll continue to do it. Try to make it maybe 5 to 7 minutes, not chat too long about all the matchups. So kind of just going to go over it, what I liked about some of the rosters, what I didn't like, and we're gonna go ahead and start with it, and let's just go ahead and get right into it. I beat the shit out of Ryan. I made Ryan my bitch. Deshaun Watson, he barely beat his thing. Tyreek Hill leading my team with 43 points right here. I don't know what Ryan was really thinking, honestly. He sat Kelsey. Well, he didn't even sit him. He just didn't fucking do anything, and he didn't even have his backup to come in. So Ryan putting up a big old donut on the tight end spot. But honestly, it was kind of a bad week for Ryan's team, if I'm being honest. Lamar Jackson did not perform. Devontae Adams did not really perform. Juju didn't really perform. I think that's Jahmyr Gibbs didn't really perform. Neither did Kenneth Walker. So overall, unfortunately, it was kind of a bad week for Ryan. Michael Pittman fucking did great. Jake Moody, thank God I'm a Niners fan, he did great. And Washington defense covered up. Obviously on my end as well, Tyler Lockett went out with possible concussion. Tight end didn't really hit either. But the rest of everything was kind of good. Looking into next week, I think Ryan should potentially break that 100 mark with his team. Just depends on how high. Let's go ahead and get into the next matchup right after mine and Ryan's. It was going to be Pirate Ship and CMC Hammer. Juan went up against Roman, and Roman's team showed out with this right here. Joe Burrow had possibly the worst game of his fucking life, and Roman still clutched up big with Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones. I believe that's Aaron Jones. Brandon Ayuk came in. Holy shit. 32 points for Brandon Ayuk. That is massive. Roman had essentially 3 guys, 4 including the defense, carry his whole team. Najee Harris did not do jack shit. Kyle Pitts unfortunately didn't do jack shit either. Harrison Butker, you broke even. Looking over at Juan, you have a really good team, and unfortunately, kind of with the same thing with Ryan, it kind of just didn't work out for you. Jamar Chase, he should be getting minimum 20 each game of how good he is. He only put up 6. That was a whole team game, and you're kind of seeing the reflection as well with Joe Burrow as well. J.K. Dobbins, you hate to see that Achilles injury done for the year. You're going to want to pick up someone off the waiver wire. There's some people out there. Other than that, honestly, and Jalen Hurts didn't really do that well. It kind of seemed like New England should have won that game, just the way that it was kind of going. But Hurts didn't do that well. But honestly, it's a good team overall. You barely missed your average projection points. Next week is going to be better for you, but you do need to fix this running back spot right here. Going on to the next, Nuts and Bolts versus Osos. Alex coming out with the win over Tony. Let's see. Dak Prescott did not do jack shit because they didn't need to. Okay, this is kind of like an asterisk. Tony, you probably feel really bad about that. Dak Prescott did not need to do anything because their defense, and I'll show you, there's a team on here that had the defense, because we already looked, just demolished the whole fucking thing. You came up clutch with Stephon Diggs, big old 25 points coming in, Olave. So I really like your wide receiver setup right there. And you have a strong number 1 in Nick Chubb. Dameon Pierce, he struggled a little bit, but honestly, I think he's going to continue to get the runs. George Kittle, Kittle, he's very hit and miss, and that's coming from a Niners fan, so I get it. T. Higgins, this probably feels terrible. I think T. Higgins actually had like 8 targets. That just goes back to the game that we were just talking about before. Cincinnati, nothing went their way. Plus, the weather was bad, and I think maybe Joe Burrow felt terrible for having like millions of dollars now. Tucker, you can't really do much about it, but the defense was pretty nice. Let's go over to Alex. Alex's team was pretty stacked, and he carried the way with Christian McCaffrey. That's going to be your guy every single week until the bye week, and then after that, that is your guy. You're never taking him out. Travis Etienne, that is very impressive. I wasn't really expecting that. Jacksonville is going to be a team to kind of watch out for, so I really like this. Your wide receivers didn't really do too much. Cleveland game, that was a weather issue. And then Tampa Bay, that's more of like a Baker Mayfield issue, honestly. I mean, Chris Godwin is a great wide receiver, but you can't really do much with your quarterback throwing him the ball. Josh Allen played one of his worst games of his life and still got 14 points, so that's a good sign, at least. Pat Freiermuth, I mean, tight ends are tight ends. It was a terrible week for tight ends in general. Isaiah Pacheco, he should still be getting run. That guy fucking runs like his life depends on it, so this should definitely start going up. And then the defense against Philadelphia, going up against running quarterback in New England. It is kind of is what it is. Let's go down to our next matchup: Gold Rush Gambler versus Puro Bots Orlando. And Robert put the beat down on Orlando, and it looks like with Robert it was led by Austin Eckler, which, just like Christian McCaffrey on the past matchup, that is going to be your guy. Trevor Lawrence, he pretty much showed out with 2 passing touchdowns. I kind of like that a lot. Equanimeous St. Brown, he's going to be very solid. He's a very PPR type of guy. 6 receptions, so that's automatically 3 points, 71 yards with the touchdown. I do like that a lot. CD Lamb, you're expecting 14, 15. I mean, it was a defense game for Dallas. That's all. There you go. Ramondre Stevenson did pretty well. Isaiah Likely, don't feel bad about that 0.9. Tight ends did shit as compared to this, which I think Orlando forgot that Dallas Goedert was actually injured, so he didn't get any run. With Orlando being led by Justin Herbert, I mean, that's pretty much average. Everything else was kind of like below average. DeAndre Hopkins, I'm not a fan of him being a starter, if I'm being quite honest. I want to see what he looks like in that offense, because if you look at it, Tannehill, for the quarterback for Tennessee, looked like absolute shit. So I would probably give it one more week, and then I may consider moving on from him. But it is what it is. Saquon Barkley, you went up against one of the 2 best defenses in the league. You're lucky you got 7, if I'm being honest. Josh Jacobs, kind of just didn't work out for him against Denver. They have a really good defense, but the game flow just didn't work for them, unfortunately. And then it kind of shows out on the defense, because it was like a weird defensive game in a way. So good job, Robert, taking home the win against Orlando. And I believe we are coming up on our last matchup for the highlight, and this is the golden spot for the defense. If you take a look down here, Travis had Dallas defense with the massive 37 points. That is not going to be the average, I guarantee you. With our scoring system, you're probably looking more like around this, maybe 15. That's massive. That is absolutely massive. So don't get used to that, but with Dallas's defense, you might get used to it. Patrick Mahomes had a really bad game, but still kind of came through with his 2 touchdowns. That was really big. Mike Williams, kind of like the 2nd, 3rd overall receiving target for the Chargers, 650. I just think he just had a bad game, so you're probably expecting something more along that lines. Derrick Henry, he actually got out-touched by, my wife's calling. He actually got out-touched by one of the other running backs, but I would still run Derrick Henry, honestly. Miles Sanders kind of went equal as well. Jake Elliott, that's massive. He had a bunch of field goals. It was a field goal game, kind of seems like it. Jumping over to Jonathan, the rookie in the league, never playing fantasy football. It just didn't line up for him. Justin Fields, that was a weird game. I think Green Bay really wanted to still show that they own Chicago, and it kind of did. AJ Brown, it was a weird game in New England too. Still kind of showed out. Sky Moore, that's an interesting start right there. I like him. I probably wouldn't start him until I really see what's going on with him. But Bijan Robinson, I mean, this is going to be a workhorse right here. Jamal Williams, I think he got injured, so he's probably going to be okay going forward, so I'm not worried about that. TJ Hawkinson, actually one of the better performances, along with Evan Ingram, for the tight end spots for this week. So I mean, tight ends are going to be flexes a lot of the time, so don't worry about that. Brandon Cooks, I mean, it is what it is. It's a Dallas game, and you got nothing of that, unfortunately. Kickers kind of did not break even. Jake Elliott went off, and Daniel Carson, he's a kicker for Las Vegas. I mean, they're going to get what they can get. And the San Francisco defense for 13, they had a really good game. We just didn't really get to the quarterback too often. So with that overview of the league, let's see what's going on with this right here. Standings. You got Travis with that massive defensive play. We got Roman coming in second for the week. Got me in third place right now. And then I believe this was Robert. There you go. So Robert. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed the recap. If you guys like it, let me know. I'll do some more. Enjoy your weeks.